G'day guys, there's been a few requests for a video of my entire display. I've obviously been focusing on just the masterpiece side of things that you can see here in the last few videos. I was expecting a delivery soon, which was going to be my next video, but it's taking a bit longer to get here than I thought. So I thought in the meantime I will show you my display in full. You have to forgive me, I am filming this in the evening, so the light isn't the greatest, but I will be putting the light on from the camera when I get to the lower shelves because they're pretty much in darkness at the moment, so you'll just have to bear with me on those. We'll start at the top though. So up here we have my Dark of the Moon, I believe, the Ultimate Optimus Prime. He was originally in his robot mode, and then I transformed him into his truck mode. He was just too big to go on any of the shelves, and then I thought he fitted better in his truck mode. There's a Titan Returns Hot Rod, which was just a spur of the moment purchase, and you'll see in a little bit doesn't really fit in with any of my other shelves, so he's just up here hanging out. We got the DVD release, the first time it was released in Australia anyway, of the G1 cartoon is up there, and Transformers Vault book, which is very interesting. It's got quite a few good tidbits in there for any fans. I'd recommend it. This shelf you've seen before and hasn't really changed, so we'll skip on to the next one. We have a small addition for this one. I might turn the light on now. There we go. But again, I'll cover that in another video. So the shelf below that, this one is a combination of some of my G1 toys from when I was a child and some modern counterparts that I've found. So this is, I quite enjoy this shelf, and I really like the two side by side, the modern versions of all my childhood toys. These are some that obviously I've just picked up as I've gone along, and some very cool stories. Superion was one of the first ones that I picked up. Obviously you can see my G1 Superion there, next to a Lego box, but he is very fragile. But I have vivid memories of getting him on my 6th birthday. So if there's one character that really sort of tugs at my nostalgia, it's Superion, because I have such vivid memories of getting him as a child and watching the cartoon and seeing him on the cartoon. Yeah, the leg always broke. It broke when I was a kid. My dad, Errol, dyed it a few times back together, and it always kept on breaking, a Silverbolt's leg. And I've managed, when I was setting up this display, I managed to get a new screw and fix it, hopefully permanently, at least semi-permanently. He's been placed in there, and I haven't really touched him since because he's such a fragile bot. But on the other hand, the Combiner Wars one is superb and very sturdy and pretty rock solid. So I've had a lot of fun mucking around with him. I do have Slingshot on the arm. I do not have Alpha Bravo. I just couldn't bring myself to get Alpha Bravo. It's just not right having a helicopter in there. So I probably paid a little bit more than I should have for Slingshot, but you know, I had the rest, so I had to do it. I also enjoyed getting Six Shot, and to a slightly lesser extent Double Cross or Twinferno here. I enjoyed these guys because I actually bought them from brick and mortar shops, which, unlike most of my masterpiece, I think I've bought one masterpiece from an actual physical store. The rest have been from online stores or second hand. So it was a bit of a thrill, especially with Six Shot, because having the G1 toy, he was my main Decepticon when I was a kid. He was the leader of the Decepticons in my collection, so it took him quite a long time to get to Australia. The main stores like your Targets and Kmart's, I never found him where I am. and it was months after his actual release, and I didn't think he was going to come. I thought I'd have to go online to get him, and I actually walked into a Toys R Us store and found him on the shelf. So that was a bit of a thrill. Probably paying Toys R Us prices was a bit more than I had intended to pay for him, but the experience of actually walking into a shop and checking them all out. The first one I picked up, the stickers on his wings were in a pretty bad way, so had a quick look around, found a good one. I'm not one for them being absolutely immaculate, but the stickers were pretty terrible on him on the first one I picked up, so I just made sure the stickers were decent and grabbed one. But yeah, very, very happy with those two. There's a gap here for the Autobot clones. I'm going to get the Takara ones when they come out. I've pre-ordered them, so they should be here in the next month or so. So that'll be another little addition to the shelf. And I don't know how long the Combiner Wars Optimus is going to stay there. When I see the Power of the Primes Optimus, I'm intending on picking him up, and you'll see on the next shelf below, I'm in a bit of a quandary as to what I do on this shelf. I quite like the Optimus there. I think he fits the scale of the shelf compared to the G1 versions quite well. Obviously the Power of the Primes one's a lot bigger, but I think the Power of the Primes one is a better representation of the character. So I'm at a bit of a loss as to which one to put on this shelf. I'll definitely be keeping both, but do I want a leader class? Do I want another bot that big? Or is it going to throw out the balance of the shelf? Or do I keep the one there that I just don't think looks as good and isn't as good a representation of the character? So let me know what you think. Help me decide. I think I'll probably try both of them and then work out which one I want when the time comes when I grab the Power of the Primes Optimus. And speaking of Optimus, we'll go down to the next shelf, which is my Optimus shelf. So whichever Optimus doesn't make it onto the G1 shelf will be on this shelf. So we're starting off on the left with G1 or G1 inspired Optimus Prime, moving along to the movie, the Michael Bay Optimus Primes. So yeah, going through a few of them. That's the Hasbro 20th anniversary Optimus Prime in the back there. We've got a bust here, which I really like, I think from Diamond Select. We have a Creo one. The bot mode's not great, so he stays in truck, and it's a real pain to try and transform him. We've got Mighty Mugs, some Robot Heroes, there's Loyal Subjects, little talking one. He's quite cool. Animated. Didn't mind that show. I really like Prime. So I've got the Weaponizer Prime. He's sort of halfway between G1 and the Movieverse, so he's smack bang in the middle there. I picked this one up off eBay quite cheaply, but I think someone's done a wash or something to the metal parts, so I might see if I can get that off. He's complete, but I don't think it looks fantastic with the wash. Moving on to the movie ones, I tried to collect all of the leader class toys. So we have the original movie leader class in truck mode here. The reason he's in truck mode is because the second movie's bot mode was 10 times better and is a fantastic, fantastic toy. I didn't get the leader class from the third movie because I had this one and he was very similar, but I ended up with the Ultimate Optimus Prime that you saw earlier on the top shelf. Age of Extinction came around and we got this terrible toy. The truck mode's fantastic, which is why he's in truck mode. The bot mode is terrible, and when the last night came around, they reissued this guy just with a new paint job, and I could not get the same toy twice, the same woeful toy twice. But I did end up with the Voyager. I've given him the shield from this leader class one. I thought his shield was just a bit too small. This one might be a bit big, but I think it fits. And we got a few other ones. We got a pop vinyl and a few other ones. making a little appearance in there. This shelf is always growing. Whenever when I see an Optimus Prime toy that I like, I pick it up. There were a couple I didn't like either of the Titans Returns ones. I thought the Power Master one, I had him in my hand at the shops a couple of times, but the head just put me off. The head looks terrible. So I found that whenever I had him in my hand, I always put him back on the shelf. I just couldn't buy it. I tried. And the other one, the Voyager one, I just didn't like it. It didn't look Prime enough for me, not like G1 Optimus Prime. So I'm glad I waited. I like the Combiner Wars one. His head's a bit small, but I do like him. And the Power of the Prime ones looks pretty good, so I'm going to be picking him up. I also had the Evasion movie, The Best Evasion Prime, the Voyager, which I'm disappointed never arrived. I ordered that through an online store called Premium Collectibles, and it never came, which is very disappointing. So yeah, I missed out on that one. I'm not sure if I'm going to be picking that one up, but we'll see how that goes. I do have the odd Transformer and a few G1 versions still packed away, but this is my collection as it stands at the moment. I do have a few other things, like I said earlier, coming in the mail. I'll be sure to let you guys see those when they arrive. I'm also planning on doing not so much reviews, but maybe some just opinion pieces on what I think about the new masterpieces that are coming out, what I'd like to see in the future, and that sort of thing. So if you'd like to see that, let me know. I think it'd be interesting. I like discussions on those sorts of things, so I'd like to get some dialogue going and people leaving comments and yeah, working out what people like, what people don't like, what they'd like to see. So yeah, if you're interested in that, let me know, and I'll be sure to do that after my order arrives. So that's about it for now. I'll leave it there, and hopefully you enjoy, and hopefully you keep watching. All right, thanks. Bye.